Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Modesto Symphony's first virtual recital. I'm Ryan Murray, the Associate Conductor for your Modesto Symphony and your host for the evening. Everyone at the MSO, and I'm sure many of you too, have missed being able to connect with friends and families at concerts. So while we're off stage, we wanted to create a digital space where we can all come together and enjoy music from our homes. We are planning to have a free virtual event each month, and our hope is that by keeping these events free to all, we can make classical music more accessible to everyone in the community during these hard times. This month, we'd like to thank and acknowledge Caroline Nickel and Tony Vlcek, who helped support tonight's program, featuring longtime MSO pianist John Hillebrandt. John and I have done many concerts together, from symphonies to operas to movies to pops concerts. We've had a great opportunity to perform together and made a lot of great music, and I'm so excited that he's here tonight to play for all of us. John has put together a lovely program, and it's my pleasure to introduce him. He's going to start with Ravel Jeux, or Fountains, so please join me in welcoming John Hillebrandt. That was just beautiful, John. What you can't hear is the thunderous applause that's out there in the YouTube universe.
I think I hear some of it.
We're all just enjoying hearing live music, and there's been a lot of comments in the chat just about how nice it is to hear you play and nice to hear music again. So thank you so much for being here tonight.
My pleasure. It's nice to see you again.
Yeah.
I miss seeing you in person, but it's nice to see a friendly face.
Absolutely. I feel the same way.
Welcome everyone to my humble abode, and thank you for tuning in.
So I think the first question that's maybe on the audience's mind is, what have you been doing for the last 4 months as we've not been seeing each other in concert?
Yeah, I've been keeping busy. My church work continues. I'm music director at the First United Methodist Church of Sacramento, and we're doing virtual services every week. So every week I have a music program to put together for that. I've been teaching online through Modesto Junior College, so thankfully I was set up to continue with that. But mostly, my wife Ramona and I have a little girl who will be 4 years old in August.
I can't believe she's 4 already.
I know, can you believe? She's just, we're here 24/7 pretty much, and things are never dull or without, a lot of action. So.
Oh, that's great. That's really
thanks.
great.
Thank
So
you.
can you tell us a bit about this program, how you put it together, maybe a bit about the Ravel and what's coming up next?
Of course. It's only been a little over a month, I think, since Caroline approached me about doing this program, and it's midsummer. It's a time of year when musicians usually do fun programs and summer kind of things. And so the first thing that came to mind was some Ravel, and this piece Fountains Jeux it's fun to play. It's what could be better than a piece of music about water fountains and sparkling water. So that came to mind right away, and it's a piece that I've played off and on over the years. So to me, it's fun to play, and I hope you enjoyed listening. It was one of Ravel's earliest masterpieces. I think he was in his mid-20s when he wrote it, and he'd written a few other earlier pieces like the famous Pavane and some of those things, and this was kind of a step forward in his harmonic language to this impressionist style, which he and Debussy kind of helped to really develop that sound. The piece is dedicated to Gabriel Fauré, who was one of Ravel's teachers, so there's that connection. But stylistically, it's come a long way since the music of Fauré.
Right.
So anyway, that's the piece, and I thought it'd be a great way to just start the program with something kind of sparkly and
absolutely. Even over the stream, I could hear the different the Ravel colors, and the counterpoint was really clear. It sounded great.
Great, glad to hear it.
And so we've got a big piece coming up next, I think.
Next is this is the Chopin Ballade in F minor. Chopin wrote 4 so-called ballades, which, like the English word ballad, is kind of an epic poem. And we don't know exactly what the story behind it is that Chopin may have had in mind, but you get the sense right away that there's this kind of, epic tale that's slowly kind of unfolding, and little by little, the musical ideas just kind of get bigger and more bold, and by the end, it's just like a whirlwind of passion and tragedy, and the whole works of an epic tale.
That's great.
So, I don't know. I don't want to talk much, but structurally speaking, are you hearing me okay, by the way?
I can hear you just fine, yeah.
Structurally speaking, the piece kind of alternates between 2 main themes. The music will start with a short introduction, then the first theme, which is rather simple, a haunting kind of melody, and then a little ways down the road, a secondary theme, which is also first expressed very simply. But then you'll see as the piece moves forward that each one of these themes becomes progressively more complex and adventuresome, and just it's amazing. I mean, everyone who talks about this ballade speaks of it with such superlatives, and this is one of Chopin's later works at his very mature stage, and you just get the sense that Chopin could just do anything, whatever just imagination leads him, he does it. So
Nice. I think it's one of those pieces too that every time you listen to it, you hear something else, something
absolutely,
further
every
in
time
it.
I work on it and play it, and it's so rich. So
Great.
how's that?
Well,
Enough?
yeah, we really look forward to hearing it.
All right, thanks, Ryan. I'll be underway.
All right.
Hey Ryan, are you there?
Yeah, I was just waiting for them to bring me in.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that was awesome.
That was a warm up.
Yeah. Oh,
That piece is it's like walking the plank or something. When you start off on it, you just know there's no turning back once you start that first note.
well, I think that's what makes that performance so exciting. Is it really felt like a journey, from one beginning to the end.
It really is.
Yeah,
I hope it came across that way as a listener.
absolutely.
It's just such an incredible piece, and I've been playing it for many years, and I just every time I come back, I discover new things, and it just never gets old. So
Yeah,
yeah, that's the great like the great Chopin Ballade in F minor.
and what you couldn't see was your standing ovation, in the audience there.
Oh, great!
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, well, it was wonderful.
So,
So
you have kind of a unique perspective because you're a performer and a composer. And we're really excited tonight that you're going to play one of your own pieces. And maybe before you play that, you could tell us a little bit about your process as a composer or who your influences are and maybe a little about this piece.
yeah, sure. I'm as a pianist, I can't help being influenced by composers like Chopin and Ravel and Rachmaninoff. And one of my other favorite composers is another Russian who was a classmate of Rachmaninoff, Scriabin. Doesn't get played as much, but those of us who are pianists, we are in on the secret that he's one of the great piano composers.
The symphony works are pretty cool too.
They are amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he started off as a kind of a disciple of Chopin. Not that he knew him, but he wrote in that style and spirit. And then partway through his life, he just kind of went off,
Yeah.
and went off the deep end. And he wrote great masterpieces, but they're really wild.
Yeah.
So anyway, this piece of mine that I'm going to play is called Nocturne. And Chopin was not the inventor of the form. That was attributed to John Field, who was a contemporary of Chopin. But Chopin really made it a serious, model for all future composers and subsequent composers. For example, Samuel Barber wrote a very famous nocturne for the piano. So I kind of had those in mind when I wrote this piece, but I was also very much under the influence of Scriabin and Rachmaninoff and Ravel. So there's a little bit of all of that, and hopefully a lot of my own personality as well. This piece kind of inhabits a space not major and not minor, but kind of both or somewhere in between. And so with that kind of mood and character, it's very much kind of a exploration of the soul and like where are things going, and it's very much a nocturne. In other words, it's kind of like flights of fancy in the middle of the night.
Yeah, excellent.
So yeah, I don't know what else to tell you about it. Just structurally, just so you have something to follow. There's a first theme at the very beginning that repeats couple times, and then there's an alternating section that's more turbulent. So first theme is kind of calm and kind of spooky. Second theme is this more agitated and turbulent thing, and then it kind of goes back and forth 2 or 3 times. And that's what happens. The other thing I wanted to kind of tell you about is the melody in the right hand is a mirror inversion of the accompaniment of the left hand. So I don't know if I can reach, but you hear this in the left hand, and then the right hand comes in. It's exactly the same notes, but slower and in a mirror.
Cool.
So that's
Yeah,
what's
I think
going on.
That's great for us to know. Well, I'll keep an ear out for it.
Keep an ear out for it, because even in the turbulent sections, that main theme will kind of sneak in and hold things together.
All right.
So, and by the way, one last comment, and I promise I'll stop talking. This piece is notoriously hard to remember, so I decided, why put myself through that kind of stress? And and since this is all about technology these days anyway, I have my iPad with the Nocturne here as a PDF. I don't know if you can see it, but there it is. And I've got this brand new foot pedal that connects wirelessly to the iPad, and I can
Nice.
change. I can turn pages with my left foot. So that was a kind of coordination
A
I
new
had to
skill to
learn.
practice, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right.
All right.
Thank you.
That was great. Thank you, John. I loved that.
Yeah, we've been hearing little bits and pieces of it in our dress rehearsals, but that's the whole thing.
It's great to listen to the whole thing. I also think it was really nice to hear Ravel and then Chopin and then kind of hear how some of those influences maybe worked their way in. I definitely hear the Scriabin influence as well.
It's in there. It's in there.
But I love the melodies. Just fabulous.
Thanks. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, it's a fun piece to play, and I don't know if it sounds difficult, but it's it's a hard piece. And I've had some pianist friends who heard the piece and said, "Oh, I want to play that," and then they see the music and they're like, "Oh, it's too hard." So,
I know composers are always writing hard music for themselves, huh?
yeah, especially me.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I know I really enjoyed hearing you play tonight, and I'm sure everybody in our audience did as well. And I also enjoyed the chance to kind of catch up in conversation. And it's just been so nice to hear and experience music after having many months of no music.
Sure
so thank
is.
you again so much for
Of course,
playing for us tonight.
It's very much my pleasure, and wanted to take a quick chance to say hello to my mom and dad, who are in Florida, and I think they were trying to tune in. So hello, and I miss you. Haven't been able to see my parents in months. My wife Ramona and Ara, who are down the street at the neighbor's swimming pool, and I've been taking over the house for this past week. So thank you to them, and thanks to Caroline and everybody at the Symphony for making this happen. It's been always a pleasure to work with them, and thank you, Ryan. So all my friends and family everywhere. Thanks for all your support.
Well, thank you, John, and thanks so much for playing tonight. And once again, we'd like to thank Caroline Nickel and Tony Vlcek, whose support helped make tonight's recital possible. And we'd like to thank all of our sponsors and donors for the season. We wouldn't be able to have these virtual concerts for the community without all of your support. And if you're interested in learning how to support the MSO and future virtual events, please visit modestosymphony.org/support. Your gift will help keep these events free to all and help keep arts alive in our community. And I'm excited to mention that our next virtual recital will feature our concertmaster, Dan Flanagan, on Wednesday, August 26th, 7 p.m. here on YouTube. And lastly, thank you to everyone watching at home. We hope you enjoyed our first virtual recital. And we'd love to hear what you thought about tonight's program. We have a very short survey that is linked in the description and will also be posted in the chat. And your feedback will help us plan future events. So for now, have a great rest of your evening, stay safe, and we look forward to seeing you at next month's virtual event. Thank you, John, so much, and we'll see everyone again soon.
You're welcome. Thanks, Ryan.